المكتب التعاوني للدعوة والإرشاد وتوعية الجاليات بخميس مشيط.
بسم الله، الحمد لله، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وموالاه. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you to a new episode of our program, History Makers. In the beginning, I'd like to thank those who called me on the phone, who met me personally, and extended their valuable comments and suggestions. I'm always open to your comments and suggestions, and I express again my gratitude to them. Today's history maker is of a significant quality, a person who had his own role in history, not only in Muslim history, but in world history. The events of today, the events that have really motivated people all over the world to sympathize, to reevaluate the values that they carry. It is what is going on in Kosovo. This Serbian aggression, which is a contemporary event that has shown kind of brutality that human being could reach. For some time, we would not even imagine such kind of inhumane practices to be executed against a nation, a poor nation. People were stripped out of their houses. Their dignity has been taken away from them. They've been slaughtered like animals with no discrimination between young children, old people, women. Rape incidents have gone beyond any understanding or calculation. It has become animalistic rather than being human. What's going on reminds us of an incident that took place 600 years ago in the same area. And this is related to our today's history maker, who had come to the rescue of the same people who have been oppressed by the same people too, which is a very interesting historical coincidence that seems to have been repeating itself. Slobodan Milosevic, in one of his speeches, said, "Today, the battle of Kosovo has come to an end." And very few analysts paid attention to these words. What was he referring to? What kind of battle he's talking about? We don't see a battle. We see people being displaced, people being deported, people being butchered, children's hands being chopped. What's going on? What was he referring to? He was referring to a battle that took place in 1470 on Kosovo between the Serbs and an army led by our today's history maker. He is very well known in history by his name, Muhammad II al-Fatih. Al-Fatih has been translated into English by many historians as the conqueror, which does not really give the exact meaning of what Al-Fatih means in Arabic. And a better translation would I think would be Muhammad the Victorious. More than 600 years ago, the people of the Balkan, especially the Bosnians and the Kosovars, sought the help of the Turkish Ottoman emperor, let's say caliph at that time, whose name was Muhammad al-Fatih. They sought help against the Serbs' aggression. But why have been the Serbs doing the same thing over history? At that time, the people of Bosnia and Kosovo were not Muslims yet, but they had very strong contact with the Muslim world in South Africa and Sicily. As a matter of fact, the island of Sicily, which is located in the middle of the Mediterranean between southern Europe and northern Muslim North Africa, has been a cultural and a commerce link between the Muslim world in the south, the Muslim world with its own civilization, science, technology, high morals and values, and Europe during the Dark Ages, or sometimes called the Middle Ages, with its own negligence, backwardness, illiteracy, hatred that was taking place among the European nations. The Bošnjak, or the Bosnians, and the Kosovars, with their contact with the Sicilian Muslims, they developed a new understanding of God. They have reformed their own religion to be different from both the Orthodox Serbs in the east and the Catholics in the north and the northwest. They developed a monotheistic religion that does not really recognize Trinity or look at Jesus, peace be upon him, as God or a son of God. This has really intimidated both sides against the Kosovars and the Bošnjak, although they were Christians at that time, but have been really influenced by the Islamic monotheism, Tawheed. So both sides were launching aggression against the Bosnians and the Kosovars for no other reason but because they had a different understanding of Christianity. Yes, an understanding that might have been closer to the true Christianity brought by Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. So some kind of an ethnic religious cleansing took place, and those people had to seek help. The Ottoman Caliph, Muhammad the Victorious, responded to their cries, to their human rights that have been really demolished by the vicious Serbs. And that was the beginning of the Battle of Kosovo that took place on Kosovo between the Serbian king with his vicious army that has been demolishing those people and crushing their own uprise for freedom, for human rights, for practicing their own belief. Muhammad al-Fatih, or let's say the Victorious, took the initiative of implementing human rights that Islam is calling for, human rights, Islamic human rights that contradict with all vicious acts that people are doing to other people, no matter what their faith is, no matter what their color is, no matter what their ethnicity is. He came to the help, and he offered a great help. He left the oppression. He helped them to practice their own belief. And as soon as they found out about the essence of Islam, the values of Islam, the respect that Islam gives to other nations, to other religions, they started thinking of becoming Muslims. And that was at the beginning of trouble that the Kosovars has to go through. They have been a part of the Ottoman Empire, or let's say Khilafat, for a long time. They have been prospering as well as other nations since when they became Muslims or did not launch any aggression towards a neighboring nation, but depending on the support of the central government in Istanbul. No, because in Islam, Allah is saying, let be there no compulsion in religion. The truth has been distinguished from falsehood. Nowadays, the wounds of Kosovars, and before them, that of the Bosnians, are bleeding. The cries of the refugees, more than 1 million refugees, a true exodus, a genuine Holocaust. But unfortunately, there is no Fatih, there is no Muhammad the victorious. But Allah will not leave those people to aggression. The oppressor will be not rewarded, punished. And this is a law that we've seen in this life, and a law that will be applied when justice will be applied in the hereafter. This is a glimpse of what Muhammad al-Fatih has done to help those people of Southern Europe to recognize their own identity, to find their own way, and they have become great supporters of Islam. One thing that I'd like to bring to attention, since I believe there should be another episode devoted to talking about Muhammad al-Fatih, Muhammad the victorious. So I'll pinpoint one issue that I think is very crucial to realize that what is going there in Kosovo nowadays is not only an ethnic cleansing, but rather ethnic religious cleansing, since the Albanians and the Serbs belong to the same ancestors. They had similar history, but because of the difference of religion that has become very salient after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and the Kosovars wanted to be recognized as a nation, as people with distinguished belief, distinguished view of themselves and the world. And that does not mean that that should conflict with what the Serbs are doing, but they wanted to establish themselves as a nation that is distinguished and practice its faith in the best way possible. One thing, since I feel that the time of the program will come to an end soon, and I'd like to bring your attention that my address is P.O. Box 9012, King Khalid University, Abha, and I'll be happy to receive your own letters, correspondence, to listen to your comments and suggestions regarding to our program, since this program is not mine, it is yours as well, and unless we interact and we share ideas together, we may not be able to come up with a successful end. I thank you for following the episodes of this program, and I'll promise, inshallah, I'll continue bringing in very interesting topics regarding those great history makers. We'll continue the talk about our own today's history maker, Muhammad al-Fatih, in another episode with more details to his own achievements before the Battle of Kosovo. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.